Alright, the cylinder is attached to the cone as shown below, and the entire object has a height of 100 centimeters. If the radius of both the cylinder and the cone is 10 centimeters, and the volume of the entire solid is 8,000 cubic centimeters, what is the height of the cylinder? Alright, let's fill out what we have. So firstly, we know that the total height is going to be 100 centimeter. And if the total height is 100 centimeter, we also know that the radius of the cone is going to be 10, and also the radius of the cylinder also going to be 10. We know that the height of the cone is unknown, so let's call it x, and we know that the height of the cylinder also is unknown. Now, what we need to know now is the formulas. The formulas for the cone is going to be, for the volume for the cone, going to simply be equal to 1/3 pi r squared times the height. That's going to give us 1/3 pi. The radius there is going to be 10, so that's going to be 100 times the height. In this case, is going to simply be x. Then we need the volume of the cylinder. Let me just call that VC. So the volume of the cylinder now is going to be pi r squared times the height. So this here is simply going to be pi times the radius. So that's going to be 100 again times the height, which is y. So that's going to be the volume of the cylinder. Now we know the total volume was given to be 8,000 pi. So what I'm simply going to do, I'm going to add these expressions. So 1/3 pi 100 x plus pi times 100 y going to simply be equal to 8,000 pi. Now with this being the case here, I can simplify this a bit. What I'm going to do, let me use a different color. I'm going to divide throughout everything by 100 pi. So if I divide everything by 100 pi, 100 pi. So that goes, so I'm going to have 1/3 x plus y equal to 80 flat. Now with this case, I don't like this fraction. So as a result, what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply through everything by 3. So let me use a different color. Let's use blue. So if I multiply everything by 3, multiply everything by 3, this is going to give me x plus 3y equal to 3 times 80, simply going to be 240. And that's going to be my first equation. Now for my second equation here, what I'm simply going to do now, I know that the total height is 100. So let me use a different color. So the total height is 100, and because the total height is 100, I know the height of the cylinder is y, the height of the cone is x. So I know that x plus y also going to be equal to 100, and that's going to be my second equation. Now if I have both of my equations now, I'm now in a position now to solve for y, because the problem I want is to find the height for y. To do that, I'm going to actually put both equations now together and solve the system. So this is going to be x plus y equal to 100, and that's going to be x plus 3y equal to 240. Now by clear observation, it's clear to see that I could solve by elimination. So what I'm going to do, let's use a different color. I'm going to subtract both equations. X from x disappears, so y minus 3y going to be negative 2y, and then 100 minus 240 going to be negative 140. Divide both sides by negative 2. Divide both sides by negative 2. Y going to be equal to 70. And that completes my